Welcome back to Real Lounge Entertainment. As always, I'm Mike, and today we're going to continue spooky season, you guys. Today I want to do something a little different than I've been doing, and it's a ranking video. Now, yes, I've done some ranking videos before. This one, I want to do a ranking of all the masks that Michael Myers has worn in all the movies. There's a few that I'm going to leave off this list, but I'll let you know which ones. So, yes, I do know there's more masks, but for some reason or another, I'm not going to include them, and I'll tell you why. But make sure to give us a like, subscribe if you haven't, and let us know in the comments which of these Michael Myers masks are your favorite and which ones are the worst. Also, check us out on TikTok, where we've been trying to post a bunch of different stuff that we don't post on YouTube, and we're starting to go live with sometimes. Tyler's been doing that. In fact, as we speak right now and record this video, he's going live right now. So as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm actually going to hop on there and just start chatting with him a little bit. So it's a lot of fun, talking a lot about horror movies right now since it's October. So let's continue spooky season now, you guys. Let's talk about Michael Myers and his masks. Now, if you watch this channel enough, you probably know by now that Halloween is by far my favorite horror series. I grew up with him. I like even some of the bad movies, and I'll not necessarily defend them, but I still enjoy them. There's only a couple that I really don't like at all. And watching all these movies, you just notice that the masks vary way different from movie to movie. And some movies have multiple masks. So I thought I have a countdown of about 18 masks I want to do in a ranking. Now, I don't want to include like Rob Zombie Halloween when he's like a boy and he has like that black paper mask. And there's a couple other masks like that he puts on. I don't want to include those ones. I do want to include the one he wore that's like the orange paper one because that's cool enough to make the list. He also wears clown masks when he's a kid in the Rob Zombie one and like the original Halloween. I'm not gonna include that one. It's not really Michael Myers, and he's a kid, and it doesn't work. And there's four masks that were used in Halloween H2O. I'm gonna include three of them, but one of them that was in one scene is the leftover mask from Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, and I like that mask. You're gonna find out in this list, but I'm not gonna include a separate ranking of it from the H2O because there's other masks that were used more. So we're just not include that one. So let's get going, guys. Let's take a look at my ranking of Michael Myers masks. Coming in at last place, 18th, and I don't think anyone's going to disagree with this one, and that is Halloween H2O, and that is that horrible, horrible CGI mask. What were they thinking? Just even, let's say you couldn't get the shot, you didn't have the mask or whatever, just film that shot a different day. You guys should have known that it was going to look that terrible. Like, look at this thing. It's horrible. The shadowing they did on it is awful. Michael Myers moving his head. It just doesn't work at all. No CGI masks should ever be used in another horror movie, period. This is a prime example of that. And if you don't have this on the bottom of your list, I have no idea what would you put that's worse than this one. Now, coming in at number 17 is almost just as bad, and it's also from Halloween H2O, and that is that horrible like alien type of mask before Stan Winston came in and like fixed it, or that one may have even been Stan Winston one for all I know, but it's more curved and the eye holes were open, and just got this weird like alien type of vibe to it, and it's awful, and you see too much of the eye in it, and something's just off-putting. It doesn't look like Michael Myers at all. It looks like some other villain from some other horror movie. So that's why that one's number 17. Coming in at number 16, this one was only in one scene, and that is the pink mask with like the blonde hair that was used in Halloween 4. Something happened with like the production. The mask didn't come in right, but they still filmed. And this mask just sticks out like a sore thumb. If you're filming it and you can just tell, like, how do you can't fix that in post, especially in the 80s or 90s, and just pause, wait a couple days till you get the proper mask, or just don't film it at all. Like, this mask is horrible. Luckily, it was only in like one scene, but that scene really sticks out. Like, even as a kid, I saw that, I was like, that's not right, and I wasn't very observant about that kind of thing when I was a kid, but it's horrible. Now, still, those other two are worse in it, but so far, we're still at all the masks that I just don't enjoy in this series. I'll let you know when we get to a point where they're like acceptable, and then a point where like I like them all from now on. But we're still in the just get these masks out of here phase. Now, the next one coming in at number 15 is one of the only masks on here that's not a Michael Myers mask. I think there's like three altogether, and that's from Halloween 5. And this is the one where he wears in the car, and it's got like the big nose and like the big lips, and it's supposed to be like a gangster or something. Not really sure. It's cool to see them experiment and put something else on, especially since it's not the whole movie he's wearing it. But this mask is kind of just dumb. I think you could have done something a little bit more clever with it. But I appreciate what you did. Not like the Halloween 5 mask was that much better, anyways. So this one just it's still on the bad list, but just I don't know. Does it feel just odd him wearing this to you? I mean, it does to me. It just doesn't work. Coming in at number 14, we're gonna go with the Halloween 5 mask, the normal mask he wears. This Halloween 5 is like directly after Halloween 4. He should be wearing the same mask. And even though the Halloween 4 mask is not good, this one is way different and way worse. So in Halloween 4, he kind of wore it tucked in, but in Halloween 5, the neck is like really long and extended. And the actor playing Michael Myers was like taller. I believe he was taller. Either way, he had a longer neck, but they made it super long. The nose protruded out really long, and he had longer hair that was like slicked back. This is just odd. Now, this used to easily be my go-to, this is the worst mask ever type of thing. Before I really realized about the CGI mask and stuff like that, I didn't really put two and two together. It's grown on me a little bit. I'm not saying I like it, so don't hit me in the comments that like, oh, you like that Halloween 5 mask. I don't like it. It's been around long enough in my life that I don't hate it as much as I used to. And clearly there's four others I think were worse. But this is the worst out of like the main masks that get worn throughout the whole entire movie. And it's easy to see why. So coming in at 13, and this is the last mask of the get these masks out of here kind of phase, like the bad masks, and that is Halloween 4. Now, as much as I like this movie, the Michael Myers design fails. Now, I'm not going to go into super detail about this, but he also wore like hockey pads underneath. So Michael Myers as a whole, this is probably my least favorite Michael Myers, but the mask itself looks cheap, like really cheap. It almost looks like they went to a store and bought a Halloween costume Michael Myers mask that you would have bought back then instead of making a mask. It's tighter, the facial expression is a little different. It just doesn't work. At least they blackened out the eyes like they didn't do in like H2O and stuff. But this mask is just something about it just doesn't work. It looks cheap, like I said, especially since you're coming off Halloween 1 and 2. And this one is the first one where it's just like, what were they thinking? On a side note, too, since we're talking about Halloween 4, and then we just talked about Halloween 1, 2 a little bit, I'm not including the masks from Halloween 3. I'm strictly talking Michael Myers. So don't get mad at me that I'm not putting like the witch and the skeleton and the pumpkin on here. We can talk about that movie a different time, but not today. Now we're coming in. There's two masks. The next two are ones that aren't on my like favorite or good list, but they're acceptable to me. So number 12 is going to be the regular mask from Halloween H2O. Still has problems. To me, it's a little too tight and snug. They kind of made the hair like not spiky, but they put it up a little bit in like a styling way, late 90s. So it was just what you're going to get from that time frame. But they also cut the eye holes a little bit. And since it's tight, you could see Michael Myers' eyes throughout the whole movie. And I hated that. If you want to do it for one scene when they're at the door, him and Jamie Lee Curtis, and they do that like eye thing where they finally connect after all this time, 20 years, and he like turns his head. Okay, I dig that for that one scene, but I don't want to see his eyes for the whole movie. He's supposed to have these black, dark eyes, and doing that just made him a man, and it took away that like the shape that he's supposed to be, as he was written in the original script. He's the shape, and that kind of just takes that away. So overall, Halloween H2O had 4 cracks at doing a mask right and failed completely. The only one that was decent I'm not including because it's going to be later on here for a different movie. Okay, coming at number 11, and it's acceptable, but it still has problems, and that is Halloween Resurrection. This mask, they kind of changed the expression crazy. Like the other masks, he's supposed to have like no emotion, and it really works well. This one, he looks angry, and the biggest problem is the eyebrows. They darken the eyebrows. The whole mask itself has like a different tint, almost like a grayish or a blue. I'm not really sure. I'm partially colorblind, but to me, it comes out as like a grayish blue. And those dark eyebrows and the mean expression it was different, but it kind of failed a little bit. But it also doesn't fail as much as those other ones. So it's like watchable. That movie overall is just one of my least favorites in the whole series. But The Mask is just like, just, I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know how you're going from, I mean, H2O, the one that came before it, like I said, has all these horrible masks. So it's an improvement on that, but I'm glad they didn't stick with that look going forward after that movie. All right, now these top 10. Okay, so now we're on the top 10, and from here on out, I like all these masks. None of them make me mad. I get enjoyment out of all of them. One of them even surprises me. But first, we're going to get to number 10, and that is the orange mask from the Rob Zombie Halloween movie. Now, this is not the classic Michael Myers mask. He doesn't wear it for that long. This is when he's still in the mental hospital and everything. And it's cool. I don't know if it's what type of thing it's supposed to be, if it's supposed to be like a jack-o'-lantern or what. But it's got a cool design. It's different in a good way. Now, I wouldn't want a whole movie of him wearing this, but I could almost see it working for a different horror movie that's not Halloween. Like if you had some sort of killer and he had that mask, I could see it actually working pretty well for that. For this one, it's number 10. I like the little change in there. It's kind of scary. It's pretty scary, and it just works for me. So coming in at number 9 is another one that's not a typical Halloween mask, and that is from Halloween 4, and that is the bandage mask. Now this is when we finally get Michael Myers back. He wasn't at number 3. We bring him back in this one, but it doesn't start off with him wearing the mask. It starts off with him being bandaged in the ambulance, being transported when he escapes. I love this look. He is pretty darn scary in it, and I almost wish they would have went a little bit further in that movie, or I wish they would do it in the other movies too, even for a little bit. It's almost like Sackhead Jason, where I don't necessarily like Sackhead Jason in a full movie like number 2, but when they did it in 2009, he had the sack for just a little bit, and it worked. And this really works for me. I really dig this look, and it's actually way better than the normal mask they used in Halloween 4. All right, coming at number 8, and I'm kind of surprising myself putting this one so high, and that is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And it's almost, I'm surprised because I just complained about how Halloween H2O, we saw too much of his eyes. Well, this one, now we're seeing the mask like ripped up from what happened in the first movie. And as the movie goes on, it deteriorates and pieces are falling and ripping off, and you're seeing more and more of his face. By definition, that should make me mad. But I don't know. It just works for this movie. Now, the movie has issues. I'm not going to lie. I don't even really like the movie. I haven't seen the whole thing yet. I've only seen scenes. So, yeah, judge me on this one. As much of a Halloween fan as I am, I have not sat down and watched the second one because I did not like the first one so much. But I've seen enough scenes to be able to judge The Mask, and I actually dig it. Now, I wouldn't want this to be the whole series, and like I said, I don't like seeing his face, but it kind of works in this, this movie setting and everything like that. So I'm glad they did it for that. They tried something different, and it's okay. It's like, so it's middle of the pack, basically. All right, so now we're getting into like the really good ones, and it's going to be Halloween 2 is going to be number 7. Halloween 2, it's the same mask as the first one, but I think most Halloween fans know Deborah Hill kept the mask under her bed. She was a heavy smoker, so it kind of yellowed the mask, and it just like was flattened and stuff like that. And the actor who played Michael Myers in number 2 had a bigger head. So even though it's the same exact mask as the first one, it looks like a completely different mask, and it kind of works. The fact that Halloween 2 is supposed to take place on the same night makes it somewhat not work, I guess, if you want to think about it like that, because it looks way different. But I still really dig this look. I think it's a classic one. I've been seeing a lot of Halloween 2 stuff the last few years. For some reason, that's the merch that's getting put out a lot. And it makes me, miss it. It's crazy as it is. It's a sweet look, especially once you get shot in the eyes and you get the blood going down. Uh, iconic. But on this list, there's still, six that I think are better than that. So let's get to the next one. Number 6 is gonna be Halloween Ends. Hate this movie. If you, Go ahead and watch our podcast. When we watched it for the first time a couple years ago, I destroyed this movie. The Mask, as you'll see, because I haven't listed the other two movies yet, is not the problem. It's a great mask, and as the three movies go on, it deteriorates. And now this is supposed to be years after he almost died from like Halloween Kills and stuff. So you have the burn marks from what happened in Halloween Kills, and you have it just look like it's been buried. Like he's just been deteriorating in the sewer where he's been living, and it's a pretty sweet look. I respect them taking changing it up and not just like, oh, he went to the store and got a new mask. So I like the look, not as much as I like the look from Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018, but it's still there and it's different enough that I respect it. So that's number 6 on my countdown. Coming at number 5 is the first Rob Zombie Halloween. This movie was a complete miss for me. I couldn't get into it. There's a couple positives. We can talk about it when we do a podcast on Halloween. So stay tuned. On Halloween, we plan on releasing a pod where we're going to talk about the whole series, me, Wes, and Tyler. So it should be a lot of fun. Don't know exactly everything we're going to get into, but I think we'll probably get into Rob Zombie, Halloween 1 and 2 a little bit there. But the mask in the first one is great. It really looks like the original, except for Rob Zombie just dirtied it up, has like cracks. It looks like a mask that if I said Rob Zombie made a Halloween movie, that's what it looks like. That's what I would think in my head it looks like. It's a pretty big mask. It looks classic. So I dig this one. It's one of the best things going for this movie, especially Tyler Mane wearing it. He was a positive for me. Such a big dude. He pulled it off pretty well. So the mask is awesome, and I wouldn't have had a problem if they continued with that look. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Halloween 6. Out of all the sequels that doesn't have the William Shatner mask, or like the prequels where they made it look exactly like the first Halloween movie, Halloween 6 mask is different, but it's sweet. It looks like the attitude that was the late 90s. It's a little bit bigger. It's almost rock and roll. We had a gnarly Michael Myers in this movie. As whatever you want to complain about that movie, Michael Myers was sweet. He was a beast in that movie. Really big, and the mask just protrudes it. Like, I don't know, it still kind of looks like the classic mask, but kicked up a notch. You can just see the attitude in it, and I love this one. So out of like all the sequels, especially the Thorn series, if you just are going that timeline, this is by far my favorite out of anything, not including the first movie. All right, coming in at number 3, and that's gonna be Halloween Kills. As you're gonna see in the countdown, we only have 2 left, and that's the original Halloween and Halloween 2018. And so obviously you're gonna be hearing me say something in one of these next 2 movies, but Halloween 2018 had a good mask. So this is the same mask, but at the end of the first movie, he gets burned in the basement before he escapes at the beginning of Halloween Kills, and we just get like the melted side of it. It's just that little detail that changes it up from just like the classic Michael Myers look, and it works. It was a smart choice. It was a smart risk. To me, it paid off. This is a cool look. It gives him a little bit more attitude. Yes, the movie kind of starts going downhill, but the mask totally did it for me. It's not a mask I would actually want to go buy at the store. I still would want just like the normal Michael Myers mask, but definitely a cool one. So here we are, guys. Only 2 movies left to go. Which one are we going to do? Any true Halloween fan knows what the answer should be, so let's just say it. Coming in at number 2 is Halloween 2008. This mask looks the closest to the original Halloween movie, period. So if we're saying that, like, it's close to the original, obviously the original is going to be number one. So this one, I'm surprised it got to look so good. It's supposed to be aged a little bit because now we're, 40 years out from the original movie. Um, Perfect. That was a solid movie. The mask is great. Best one ever outside of the original Halloween movie. So, definitely check that one out. If I was gonna buy a Halloween mask, because I do have a Michael Myers mask, it was crappy. I bought it like 15 years ago, and it never looked like Michael Myers. So I'm due to go buy a new one. I would definitely check out the one from 2018. It's probably too expensive for me to spend the money on this year, but I definitely need to check that out. So clearly, the number one is the original Halloween. It was just done perfectly from the get go, and you can't do anything to top it. It was just the way they lit it was perfect. You couldn't see his eyes, no emotion in the face, the white. This is the one they use on like all the covers. Like when I was buying all the VHSs for the Halloween movies before like DVDs came out and digital downloads and stuff, this is the mask you put on. So like I buy Halloween 4, this is the mask that was on the cover of the VHS, and then I'd watch it and be like, that's not the mask they use in the movie. I'd be pissed. So this mask is just perfect. I think this is my favorite horror movie mask. It's not too complicated. It's simplified, and that is why it works perfectly. Not attacking any other series or anything, but Michael Myers is my guy, and this mask will always be my go-to for best mask in any horror franchise, period. And I don't see anything ever outdoing it. So that's my list, you guys. Let me know in the comments which ones are your favorites, which ones are your least favorites. Let's get a talk going in the comments. I love talking Halloween. You're going to see it on Halloween when we release our pod about the whole franchise. Should be so much fun. So stay tuned. Check us out on our TikTok. Tyler's been going live a couple days a week. That's pretty fun to get on there. He's been talking horror movies. We always love horror movies. I get in the chat too a little bit. You don't see me on camera, but you'll see Tyler, talking to me. Wesley joins in sometimes too. So it should be a lot of fun. Check us out on all that. Give us a like, subscribe if you haven't. If you know any friends that you think would dig the stuff we do, please let them know. Let's get this channel going. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers as soon as we can, so help us out on that. And yeah, so thanks for watching the video. Make sure to check us out for the rest of October. Like I said, we're trying to post as many days we can, horror content or Halloween content. And in November, we'll change it up a little bit. We always stick to some horror stuff because we are definitely horror fanboys. But we'll change it up a little bit. We'll do some pods, movie trivia, that kind of stuff. So thanks for watching, and happy Halloween.